Welcome back to the 801 Diaries podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Abby. It
Abby, how was your week?
was good. It was really long, really busy, but it was
Really?
good. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to even think
Any
what I did. Work's just been really, really crazy. So I feel like
mm,
after that, I just kind of come home and go to bed.
I get that. I feel that.
But the most exciting news of the week, well, one of the most exciting news of the week, we went and saw New Moon. If you watched last week's episode, you'll know they are replaying all of the Twilights in theater, and Maddie has never seen Twilight, so we are going to see them all.
So good.
And
How did New Moon
so
go
good.
over?
New Moon, I told Maddie that this is just my opinion, but New Moon is the worst. Of the
Yes.
Twilight movies, New Moon is my least favorite. But
Agreed.
it is important to the storyline. So
Yeah.
it's I mean, let's be honest. All of the movies are terrible. Everything about it is terrible.
Yes.
They're also the best movies
Amazing.
ever made as
Exactly.
well. So I was like, New Moon is not my favorite, but it's important for the storyline.
Hmm.
And she felt the same way. She's like, I didn't like it as much as the first one, but it was still good. So,
Yeah.
but we're getting into Eclipse, which either Eclipse or Breaking Dawn Part 2 are my favorite. So we shall have to
You
see.
like Breaking Dawn Part 2?
Yes, because the plot is so far gone. It is the
Okay.
most unhinged, like just absolute disaster of a plot line ever.
I mean, yeah.
And I'm here for that. I feel like that's the only
Okay.
way to properly like end Twilight, you know what I mean? Like Twilight
No, I
needed to
get
go
it.
out on a bang.
I
And
get it
boy did
because
it.
boy did it. We'll do our whole movie review, but I truly feel like part two is I think at least in the books and all that crap, part two of Breaking Dawn was the worst. Like I hated it more than New Moon. Like I
Really? I never read the
just
books.
because
I never read the
the
books.
book part, nothing happened. Like truly nothing happened. And it was so frustrating. And it just dragged on for like 600 pages of nothingness. Like I just could not get behind it. So when the movie came out, I did not like Breaking Down Part Two. To me, that's the worst one out of all of them, like lower than New Moon. I did rewatch New Moon recently, and I actually like it more
Yeah,
now.
I haven't seen it in like a good 10 years probably because it's the one I
Yeah.
don't rewatch. And it was okay. Like it was better than I remember it being.
I think being less involved in the Jacob Edward now, I can appreciate New Moon a lot more because I'm not hating Jacob
Yes.
viscerally
Well,
during
okay.
this movie.
This is the thing, and I'm gonna have to speak carefully because I don't know if Maddie can hear me or not. I never, like, looking back on them, I never understood that at all. Does that make sense what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say?
no, I
I never
understand.
understood it. Watching New Moon, I got it again. You know what I mean? I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I get where this came from because knowing it in its entirety, I was like, huh?
yeah. You're like,
Where was
excuse
that?
me?
Where was that? You know?
Yeah, no, I feel that. That makes sense. But we'll
But
we'll get into that more
we'll get
later
into
when we do
that.
our whole
So Eclipse is this week, and
movie
I love
review.
Eclipse. I love Eclipse so much.
Might be
And
my favorite one.
Eclipse is so good. And then they're doing Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2 like the same week, so we're gonna do a double showing. So Breaking
Exciting.
Dawn will be the
The week
next
after.
week. So,
Exciting.
but yeah, Twilight, it's so good. It's so good.
Love it so much.
One thing I cannot get over though is how young Kristen Stewart looks. Like she
Well,
looks like a child.
she was 17 in the first one.
Was
Like
she really?
she was a minor.
See, I didn't know. I thought she was like 22. Because wasn't Robert
Mm-mm.
Pattinson like 22, 23-ish around
Something
there?
like that. And then freaking Taylor Lautner
It
was
was like
15.
14, yeah. No, literally the fact there are 3 years in between Shark Boy, Lava Girl, and the first Twilight.
Is
Wild.
insane.
Wild, wild, wild.
Mind blowing. Puberty hit that guy
It
so
hit him
fast.
like a bunch of bricks. Wild.
Yep. Wild.
But yeah, like watching these, I cannot believe how young she looks. Which I mean, if she
Hmm.
was that young, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
And they filmed them so quickly so that like there was a movie coming out every year. So they got it all speedy, speedy quick. So
Except, well, because in Breaking Dawn Part 2, I don't, maybe it's just Robert Pattinson because I mean, he was probably pushing 30 at that point. He looks old in that movie, in my opinion. Like, he
They all
looks,
do.
yeah, but like,
Once, I feel like especially once Bella becomes a vampire, spoiler alert, sorry, you should know by now. I feel like once she becomes a vampire, they put a weird filter over everybody.
everyone. Well,
Like it was like
also,
we were seeing it through Bella's new vampire eyes or
yes.
something. And so everybody looks older and just like glossy and just like photoshopped to the high heavens, and I think it's hilarious.
Also, one thing to mention, the wigs, the change from the first Twilight to New Moon, the wigs got horrendous. They were so bad. Rosalie's wig is horrendous. Esme wig, so bad.
So bad.
Alice's wig,
Rosalie's wig
so
was
bad.
never go though.
No,
Rosalie never had a good wig, and it's
no.
such a shame.
I know because Nikki Reed is gorgeous, but they put her
So
in
pretty.
these awkward,
Horrible wigs.
terribly colored wigs.
So bad. All of them were bad.
Um,
There was not a good wig in Twilight, if we're
no.
being completely honest.
Well,
But
what's his name? Peter Facinelli. He had some good wigs.
they got better. I feel like he's the only one that got better at wigs,
Well, no, everyone looked good in the first one. But I think a lot of that was their real hair. I don't think they had a lot of wigs in the first one.
except for
I'm talking
Rosalie's horrible
about
wig.
hair. I'm talking about hair, not the generalness of it, their hair. Rosalie's was fine in the first one. It wasn't great, but it was fine in the
Yeah,
first one.
it just got worse
And
though.
then it got significant. Like I think Esme had her real hair.
Mm,
I feel like her hair was the same. Or her that was a wig.
it's
That was
not
a
her
good
hair.
wig. That was a
She
good
had,
wig.
she had a good wig.
Not in the
I
second
feel
one
like
though.
Alice's were the best wigs out of them all.
Maybe, I don't know. That second one was too long. But anyways, we've been talking about Twilight too long. But
We have a
Twilight
whole
slays.
other, yeah.
Also, me and Maddie are really trying to stop saying slay. We've taken it too far. It's like literally coming out in every sentence. So we're really trying to stop.
So you're trying to take it away again. Remember how you brought it back?
Unironically brought it back. Yes. And
Yeah.
so the thing is, I brought back slay, Maddie brought back swag right at the same time. So now we're like,
You just say
we don't know what to
slay swag
say. Well, we get a lot of sways and we get a lot of swigs. Swig comes up, in other
in
times
general.
too, but we get a lot of sways and a lot of swigs. But what was I gonna say? But it needs to stop. But we brought them, we unironically brought them back at the same time. So now we can't like go to the other one, because we've been
Right,
saying both
because
of them. So we're trying to figure out if you guys have any vocabulary suggestions, send them my way because we don't know what to say.
exactly. Well, there you go.
How was your
There you
week,
go.
Emily?
You know what? I had kind of the opposite week of you. My week went by so fast, and it was just speedy. Like I feel like we were just here. A couple of highlights from this week. My roommate got engaged. So exciting.
Yay!
We're so excited.
Yay!
Woohoo! So Maya is now engaged. That happened on Tuesday. And then on Friday, Maya and I went to Avanto, which is sauna in the woods, essentially. We saunaed in the woods, and then we jumped into a frozen lake where there had been like it wasn't completely frozen, but there were significant ice
The
chunks.
vibes were there. The vibes were there.
Vibes were frozen, and holy cow, that was my first time doing a proper Avanto. And can I just tell you, so much fun. We had so much fun, but we were both dying. It didn't even feel cold. Like that was the thing. It wasn't cold at all. It was like you were being slapped with a bunch of knives. Like that's just how it felt because it was just like it just stung instead of being cold.
That
Like
sounds
we had
miserable.
it was it was so fun, but it was miserable at the same time. So we did that and it was a blast. It was so wild because we had to trek through the forest in the dark and it's like icy. So we were really and like we were
You
just
had a
like
proper wilderness adventure.
we did. We had a very proper wilderness adventure. We're in flip-flops and we have robes on and we are walking through the forest. So it was quite the adventure. It was so fun though. And then yeah, and it was like late at night. It was such a blast. Had so much fun. And then yeah, I made another chicken today. I'm
I
really
saw
okay.
that.
I am on my like domestic mode. I'm really trying hard. Like I'm really trying to cook different meals now. Like I'm trying to just really be like do more things like that. That was my one of my New Year's goals.
Mhm.
And can I tell you, I am so proud of myself. I made like three or four like different recipes this week, and I would like just trying new things and like all this kind of stuff. It's so fun. I had some friends over for dinner this week because I was like, I'm gonna be cooking like this. I need to show it off to somebody. So
Yes.
that's like my new thing is like I've just started inviting people over for dinner and it's just
Cute.
so much fun. I'm making cookies after we're done recording because I just want some cookies. And now I have those down to like a science of like 10-minute prep and then we're ready to go.
Swag.
But yeah, so it's just been a good week. It's just been kind of chill.
That's good.
So fun.
I had domestic lady time yesterday.
I don't like you saying it that way,
But
but
anyways,
explain.
so me and Maddie are like we have to cook like we're gonna cook dinner, roommate dinner one night a week. So that we
Okay.
cook, we start cooking more because we n literally never cook and like whatever. So yesterday we had chicken tacos and we just got like a rotisserie chicken because that's so much easier than, you know, making chicken.
So
And
very fun to make a chicken
yes, very true. But
and
so we
very
had,
easy actually.
I believe it. But so we had this whole chicken. And
Okay.
let me tell you, shout out to Timo for teaching me on how to cut a bird. Shout out to Timo because I got on there, snapped the little drumsticks off, cut the breast
Mm-hmm.
off, snapped the thighs off, snapped the wings off. Like I slayed that bird. And that is because Timo taught me how to cut a bird. It was very,
So
very
good.
exciting.
Good. I'm
It was
proud of you.
very
I was gonna
exciting.
ask what you had for dinner yesterday because I saw your Be Real.
Yeah, we had chicken tacos. They were really, really good. And super easy too. And then also domestic lady. So we'll talk about this later in the episode, but Timmy was on SNL last night. So we thought we're gonna have like an SNL party. We're gonna like make a fun treat and like, really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy our time. So
Enjoy it.
I was like, we were looking through our cookbooks, like trying to figure out what kind of dessert we wanted to make. And we found these brownies. So we're like, okay, I'll make these brownies. And
Do you
then
have his cookbook too?
yeah,
Nice.
the preppy kitchen slays.
Yeah.
But so I was like, I'm gonna make these brownies, and then I was like,
They're so good.
I got a ice cream maker for my Mix Master, my KitchenAid, and I've never used it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to make homemade ice cream, and I'm gonna make homemade ice cream tonight and brownies, homemade brownies. We
And dinner?
slayed and dinner. It was so good. We
I'm so
slayed so
proud of
hard.
you.
Well, Maddie made dinner, but I made the dessert. We slayed so hard.
Okay. There you go.
It was a big deal.
That brownie recipe is so good. I made
So
them one
good.
time. Amazing.
So good.
Amazing. Yeah, the Preppy Kitchen. He is so good. That's where I get my chicken recipe from. But I really like his chicken recipe because it's super easy. So then I just like made my own, like I add my own
Add your
spices
things
and
to
stuff
it.
to it.
But it's
But
a good
like
just base recipe.
it's just it's a good way how to cook a chicken. And then you can add stuff to it. And
Nice.
I think I've really got a good one down. I'm like really proud of it. So watch me just constantly
Slay.
making a whole chicken.
Slay.
So
One thing that was super weird about this rotisserie chicken is it had like it had like it was tied, it was tied up.
twine.
Twine, thank you. I was gonna say yarn. I'm like, I know it's not yarn. But it had twine tied up. So I cut the twine to like pull it out and it was like threaded through the chicken. It was the weirdest thing. I like whipped it out and then
Really?
splattered fat everywhere. It was because
That's not
because
good.
we got it and then we like weren't eating for like a couple hours, so we put it in the fridge, so all the fat like congealed, when
Congealed.
it gets
Yeah.
cold. So I flung it and it was icky. It was kind of funny.
Dang.
But yeah, so we had domestic lady time.
I hate that. I mean, I hate that it's a group activity.
That's what I'm gonna call this episode, domestic lady time.
Uh, let's hope not.
No, so there was this
Um,
TikTok that I saw, and it was I can't remember his name.
which we should preface. TikTok is back.
TikTok's back. Woo!
We should like truly we did our whole episode and we hadn't even hung up the Zoom yet. that we record on
Hmm.
when Maddie came in and we were talking about TikTok and it was back.
Yeah, and
Like we
well,
weren't even done.
we weren't even done. Like she was like, people are posting that it's back, like it hasn't updated for me yet or whatever. Like I can't see it. And then like James Charles crashed out so hard, and it was the funniest thing in the whole entire world.
His crash out was so
So
good.
funny. But he posted about how you could go on the web browser. Like the app doesn't work, but
Yes.
the web browser works. So like we were on the web, like looking at TikTok, and then it came back while we were still on Zoom. So it was literally minutes later that
And we
we
were
stopped recording this podcast.
And it was hilarious. And my favorite part of the podcast last week was Abby's, "This is Abby from the future. And I just want you to know we do know that TikTok is back." Like that was so freaking
I
funny.
thought that was funny. I was editing it and I was like, I should throw
Caveat in there. Little extra.
a little wink wink.
A little wink wink nod nod nod.
Yeah. So if I have commentary going forward, maybe I'll start adding it in. Um but
Could
anyways,
be fun.
what were we
Continue.
talking about? TikTok? Oh, so there's this TikTok. And I can't think I want to say his name is Zach or something like that, but he's funny. I really like him. But he was talking about how he misses like just like being around people. Like people don't just like go and like sit next to each other. Like friends don't like just go sit next to each other and hang out kind of thing. Like you always have to be doing something. Like we
Yeah.
don't just hang out anymore. And he called it parallel play. Like where we parallel play.
Oh,
And
okay.
I
I
and
now
this is
I a
this
lot of
has
my other
become my
questions
new
are
favorite thing because I live to parallel play. I love to just have people around me. But like I don't
it's true.
necessarily need to be interacting with them, but I like people around me.
She likes the
So,
company.
so I always say we need a parallel play to Madison. Well, actually, no, I always forget what it's called, and it take us a couple minutes to jog our memory, and then we're like parallel play. That's what it is. So we parallel played hard yesterday, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite new
Good.
term.
It sounds like a good one. I like it. I was gonna ask what because someone you or Maddie captioned
Maddie
your Be
did.
Real about
We
parallel
live to
play, and I was
parallel play.
like, what is this? But now that makes sense.
Also, more exciting news. This
So
is the
much.
most random updates. Like, we're still on the intro.
It's
Most
okay.
random thing ever. I finished Hogwarts Legacy yesterday. Well, kind of. I finished the storyline. I can still do like side quests and stuff, but I finished the main storyline.
Proud of you.
So that slays. Kind of
Good
bummed
job.
though, because I love that game.
Hmm.
But it
Dang,
slayed.
it did slay. Sounds like it. You did so good.
Thank you. So that's exciting news. Trying to think what
Yeah.
else. I don't know.
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's
Yeah.
it.
I think that's about it for this week. We had a lot going on, but also it's a pretty chill. Also, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. We've been
Yeah,
kind of popping off around
we've
the
had a lot
world,
of listeners,
and it's been
especially in India. So shout out to our Indian
shout out to you
listeners.
guys. We
You
love you. But
slay. You slay.
it's been really fun. The podcast is popping a little bit and it's always fun. I think it's happened like two or three times where some episodes just kind of go viral and we're kind of viral for us,
I
not
was
for
gonna
anybody
say
else.
viral might be a bit of a stretch. We get
Viral
more
for
listeners than we
us.
usually do.
More than just mom. Um But yeah, so just a quick shout out. You guys are awesome. Thank you for listening. Welcome. We've gotten new subscribers on YouTube, I've noticed.
Hmm.
So welcome to the crew. Like
And if you're
we're
new, let us know how you found us because I would be interested to see kind
yeah,
of where, like,
people
just
are finding
searches
us.
or if people are finding us. Because again, we're not doing clips. So where are
We're gonna
you
get there.
finding
Maybe
us?
I was thinking about doing that tomorrow, like spending some
Okay,
time after work and doing
slay.
some clips.
I mean, I never
So
did clips, so I can't give you any crap for not doing clips.
I
So,
know, but I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Maybe tomorrow. Maybe
so
tomorrow.
how did you find us? Is my
Yeah.
question. Are
Comment
my
below
titles
or
working?
send us a text message
That's true. You could send us a text message.
or just send us a DM, comment, anything.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yes.
But should we get into the main topic of today?
Sure.
Okay, so this week, as Abby previously stated, Timothée Chalamet was on our favorite show, Saturday Night Live.
Heck, yes, he was. I
He
love him.
was. And we have been
No, no,
talking about
no, no,
this.
no, no. He wasn't just on SNL. He
No,
was
he
the
was
host
host
and
and
musical
musical guest,
guest.
which
Play,
hasn't
Timmy.
happened
Oh,
for Abby.
I need to
S-
stop.
Stop saying that word. But it hasn't happened that a non-musical artist has hosted and done music since 1995,
Mhm.
which is before Timothy was born. So it has never happened in his lifetime. And so big deal. And we've talked about that we were so excited for this, and
So
we figured
excited.
today we'd kind of just talk about
Give our
his episode,
thoughts,
give our thoughts.
rundown.
And then we've been SNL fans for years, like for a long time. And so we kind of just wanted, we were just SNL is mostly what we just are talking
This
about
is an
today.
SNL themed episode.
Yeah.
So, Timmy,
Timmy
he
T.
he arrived on stage, and let me just say that cold open was probably one of the funniest ones I've seen in a long
It was
time.
so good.
It
Oh
was
my
so
goodness.
funny. Lin-Manuel Miranda came out, did his Alexander
Alexander Hamilton,
Hamilton.
so good.
So good. It was so funny. So, so
James
funny.
Austin Johnson
It is
does the world's best
remarkable.
trumpet. It is insane how good he is. I was literally dying when he went up to Lynn and was trying to get him to break because he was supposed to be frozen. And
And he
he's just,
broke. He
and he
broke.
broke him. Like, it was so freaking funny. I could not get over it.
It was so funny. Like, it is uncanny, his impression of Trump. Like, I
Yeah,
watch it and I forget that that is not Trump. It is so good. It's
so good.
so good. It's the best Trump impression I've ever seen. It is so, so good. And
I'm
like the
so
way they
glad
do the makeup and the prosthetics, like it's just, it is
the turkey neck,
perfect. It
like,
is
oh my gosh.
perfect.
And like the
So
way he
funny.
stands, and I think like they have to be changing like the camera angle because it's kind of coming from below the way, or at least the way he's standing makes it look like he's puffed out and like I don't know. I don't know
It's
what they're doing, but
perfect.
it is the best out of everybody they've ever hired to be Trump. Like Alec Baldwin, worst.
Oh, it was
So
so
bad.
bad. It was so
So
bad.
bad. They like the fact that he's just on the cast,
Is such a win for SNL
insane.
because it is so good. It is so good.
Yeah. If they try to hire anybody else for the next 4 years to be Trump, they can't
No.
because I need it to always be him.
Well, no one else can do it like him. That's the thing. Like
Nobody
it
can.
is the best Trump impression I've ever seen. And everyone has a Trump impression because it's such an like
Distinguishable, yeah,
distinguishable like cadence
voice
and
and cadence
voice.
and yeah.
But no one does it like him. It's so like it is. I
It's
genuinely forget that that is not Trump. It is so good. It is so, so
like
good.
everything he says about the way
It's
like just the
perfect.
things he says about it. Like it was so good. And it's just he just throws things in there like Trump would and just kind of like just gets you. Oh my gosh, it is so good. And I just want him to be the Trump impersonator
Hmm.
forever.
But it was so funny because it like, starts and they're all signing the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, doing their whole thing. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda pops out and I just busted up laughing. I'm like,
It was so good.
you know what? Lin-Manuel Miranda has gotten so much crap over the years. And is he the cringiest person alive? Yes.
Yes,
But he's incredible and I love him so much. And I
so
want
much.
him to continue to cringe on my screen all day, every day. I
Forever,
love him.
forever and ever.
He is so,
But
and also so talented. He cringes so
yes,
hard people forget how talented he is. Go listen to the
but
Moana
he's
soundtrack. It's so
not
good.
Moana 2, Moana 1.
So good. It's so
But
good.
he's so good. Like, but like also what a clever way to like get a guest in having him be Alexander Hamilton. Like, I think it's like, and it's just like the perfect person for it, obviously, because he's Lynn. But like, I just thought that was such a
Yeah.
clever, like,
But it was
pull,
also,
like
I
a
mean,
clever,
because obviously the inauguration was this week. Like
yeah,
such a clever way to like poke fun at that, but without it
yeah,
being like too on the nose kind of a thing. Like it was
yeah.
so funny, so so funny.
It was so good. And like I just loved watching everybody try to not break as James
Also,
was just going at it
Andrew Dismukes was had his arm out the whole time. The
the
man
whole
must
time.
have the shoulders of the gods because
Because
he had his
it
arm
was
out the whole time.
it was a 7 minute cold open. Like
Yeah.
it was a long cold
Hmm.
open. And like, oh my gosh. And Mikey Day was like sitting there like fisted the whole time. I was like, wow, he really committed to
To
you
John
knew you were gonna
Hancock.
be paused. Like it was just
It
so
was so
funny.
funny. I
I
genuinely loved like that was my favorite cold open in a long, long time. I thought it was
Yeah.
so
And I feel
funny.
I feel like we've talked about it the last couple of years SNL really has come back and is so like top notch right now. And so I feel like a lot of their cold opens have been really good lately,
Hmm.
but this one was
So clever.
unmatched.
So funny.
Like just the lights going dark and James walking out as Trump
And go like,
is
there's
just
Lynn.
so good.
He really wants to rap right now, but he's got it. He's
But he's
frozen. So
like
funny.
so
It
funny.
was so good. It was so, so
Like
good.
so freaking funny. And so I mean, could talk about it forever, but it was so good.
Yes. But anyways, then Timmy comes out to do his monologue, talks about how he never wins an award, which I have never realized before, but
Noticed,
that's
but he doesn't
hilarious.
win.
He doesn't win.
Um, can we also talk about Timmy? What is he doing right now? Because
Okay, okay, okay.
Homeboy looks like the stoner kids from high school.
Yes. Let me
Like
say,
hardcore. Like that's just who he is. The stoner skater kids.
the mustache and the goatee only work with that haircut. If he had any
Yes.
other haircut, it would be vile. But with that haircut, it's working for me. I'm okay with it.
You're like in
I'm
the
on
stoner
board.
skater boy.
I kind of love how like his hair's messy. It's short, but it's messy. He's, thriving. Like I just kind of I'm here for it. It's not my
You're
favorite Timmy, but I think last time he hosted SNL, that was my favorite
was
Timmy.
my favorite Timmy. Yeah.
But I'm here for it.
So good.
I'm here for it.
It was good.
All
It was a good
37 hairs on his chin.
I loved that so much.
Zoom
Oh,
in, right on the goatee. All 37
37 hairs.
hairs. So
Oh,
funny.
that was a good one. Yeah. I think Keenan is so funny. I love
Keenan is
Keenan.
so funny.
Keep him coming. Like I think Keenan's great. I thought it was a solid cold open. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite one he's ever done. I don't think
No, I
like
think last time was my favorite
it
monologue he
was a
did.
lot, yeah. But it was like still good and like
Yeah.
nothing to like complain about.
No, it
But
got me excited for the episode, that's for sure.
yeah. And I mean that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So,
Then, okay,
um
we get into the first skit.
which
This was the funniest skit for sure.
oh,
For
and
sure.
like truly tears. Like tears were flowing because
The
it was
whole time.
I have I couldn't stop laughing. So let's get into it.
So
So
for those of you who haven't watched or watched it out of order or something, it's the white woman workout skit where they're bouncing
the bungees,
the bungees.
the bungee, whatever. I
When when he goes Jimmy Carter and they all fall flat. I like laughed
I
so
lost it.
audibly. It was so funny. That was so out of pocket. Like whose idea was that? It was so funny. So funny.
It was wild, but it's so funny because I've seen those videos. She's laughing. She's lost it. Those
Oh,
videos of those people doing the bungee exercises,
wild.
hilarious, wild,
Wild.
wild. Timmy comes out with that wig.
That wig is so good. It is
That
so
wig,
good.
that wig, and he's bungeed in. Like he is
He is
like
fully secured in there. He is secured.
he's secure. They're all just going, and he is just shouting off the most inspirational crap you've ever heard.
If you have a tampon, shove it in an extra inch and let's get going.
Oh my gosh.
I genuinely think that's the funniest thing I've ever heard on SNL.
It's so good.
If you
But
have a
just watching
tampon,
them,
shove it in another inch and let's go.
and then they jump, and then they fall, and it was so funny. And then they
Oh
bring
my
out, and then they're
gosh.
doing the calorie counter, and they're like,
We
"Oh, we've
all
each."
burned 5 calories. No, collectively, we burned 5 calories. And then they bring out the Cinnabon cake, and it's
It's like
negative
negative 12.
12,000 calories.
So funny. It was
It's
so funny.
so
But what was
funny.
even better about the Cinnabon cake was watching them, all the girls, try to get the cake
And
because
then Timmy just
Heidi,
starts chucking.
Timmy starts checking it. Heidi is free falling over into it. She is totally like Superman to this cake and is just up, and Ego is like trying to like get her feet
Mhm.
back, and then all of a sudden Heidi falls over, and everybody was just like, it was chaos. And then I don't
It
know if you
was
caught
so
it,
funny.
but at the end, after it had ended and they were panning, they pulled back the camera, but you could still see Timmy is trying to grab the cake as he's after he's Jimmy
Yes.
Cartered, and he's like,
Oh, it's so bad. It's
it's
so funny.
so funny. And I was just cackling as I'm like, what is this? How did this sketch come to be? Because this is the fun, like, this is so funny.
Well, it's so funny because you see those like white, like the joke is white women will do anything but actually work out to work
Yeah.
out kind of thing. So it's the roller
Hmm.
skating, the bungees, the like the bounce shoes, like
Yes. The hula
like
hoops,
anything,
the
the hula
anything.
hoops. It is so funny. And the freaking bungees, it was
It was
perfect. It was
so good.
perfect. Like I think that is like honestly one of the funniest skits I've ever seen on
Ever
SNL.
seen. Ever. It was so clever, so funny. Timmy, when he was doing the frog, like he would just start
Oh,
calling out all these things and
and the
all.
troll, he slayed that troll walk. He did such a good job. And then jumping jacks, just your arms, just your arms.
Okay, if you watch Heidi, well, kicked her legs up at that point, she is just flying around
Flying
and just
around.
going like this. She is not touching the ground. I thought it was so funny because I feel like with that one, they didn't rehearse it.
Oh, I
Because
know.
like there's no way.
Except the Jimmy Carter, because everyone went straight into the Jimmy Carter.
That's the only
They
thing
knew
they all knew
exactly
what was
what that
going on.
meant. They knew exactly what that meant.
That was the only one that they knew because like watching it, Timmy, and I feel like Timmy just made up his own stuff as it went. Like that one felt the most organic. Like it didn't feel like a regular like sketch. It just
Skit,
felt
yeah.
like Timmy was just like shooting the crap of like troll, frog, Jimmy Carter.
Whoever came up with that needs a raise. That is the funniest thing I've
That was
ever heard.
such a good one. Like
You got a tampon, shove it in an extra inch, and let's go. That is
so
so
funny.
funny. It is
It's
so
so
funny.
hilarious. So that was by far the funniest sketch of the night, but it was like top tier.
Like
Top
so
tier,
good.
one of the funniest sketches ever.
It was so good. So
Yeah,
good. My next favorite sketch, I can't remember the order exactly, but my next
it's
favorite
okay.
sketch was the coffee shop. The coffee
That
shop
was
one.
funny.
I thought that was so funny. So funny. I gotta go to Cheesecake Factory, but I don't want to get too big. Girl, too late. It was so
That
funny. It
was a
was
good
so
one.
funny. And then,
This is a really good episode to watch the YouTube so you
yes,
can know
we
what's going
we
on.
have some hand move. We're, you know,
There's dance moves. You know what's going on right now. Oh, look at her.
literally
Um,
so funny. So
so funny.
funny. And then Keenan
That
comes
one,
out. We love Keenan.
I love Keenan. And I just, oh, I love Keenan so much. That was a good one. Okay, what
That was
was
Slade.
another next one? I'm
There
trying,
was mm, there was the med cast that didn't have Timmy in it. That was pretty funny.
that was actually, I actually thought that one was
Yeah, because
pretty
I feel like
good.
those pre-taped ones without the star usually aren't the funniest ever, but that one was pretty funny. It was
That one was
clever.
pretty, I also feel like a lot of the pre-tapes lately, um, they have, like, they'll have the stardom, but these ones didn't very much just because Timmy was probably just busy, like so busy that he just didn't have time to do pre-tapes where he was doing the
Yeah,
musical and um but yeah, the medcast was
it was
pretty
funny.
funny. So
Okay, then we also had what else did we have?
then we had AI software with Bowen and
Timmy, my two favorite people
Timmy.
ever.
I thought this one was pretty funny. I didn't think it was like one of the I mean, I don't think anything I feel like it was kind of a bad thing they started with Bungie because quite truthfully,
Nothing would be that
that
funny.
was
Hmm
that was tip top of
Yes.
funny. So
Yes.
nothing quite held up to that, but
But this was funny.
Ayers,
Definitely had
this
funny
was
moments.
yeah, very clever. I thought. I
Yes.
thought it was a good time. I mean, Bowen and Timmy and Trish.
Two favorite people. I love Bowen Yang so much. I think he is so
He's
funny. He
so
is
funny.
so funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marcella was funny in this one as well. I
Marcelo, I love him.
I wish we could have got more Marcello and Timmy like
Hmm.
team up because I just feel like they would have been really
Yeah,
funny together.
together.
Like
Well, there
there's
was, I'm trying to think. Oh, the dog one. The dog one wasn't very funny,
no, I didn't like that one very much. Wasn't a
but
big fan.
that's okay. They can't all be.
They can't all be Bungie. It's so good.
That was like,
Um,
truthfully, that one was so freaking funny.
yeah. No, absolutely. There was then the last one was Grandma's birthday.
This one was funny. This one
This
cracked
one
me
was
up.
this one was a funny like concept. I thought it was just funny.
Yeah.
Like
Well, he started doing CPR, and I was like, I have no idea where this is gonna go.
where
And
this is gonna
then
and then
he farted her back to life.
he farted her back to life.
Oh, it's so funny.
My favorite part though was Keenan just saying,
Just let me go. Let me go.
just do Weekend at Bernie's until he's gone. Like, like just let me go.
Oh, that is so
Like,
funny.
it was so that was funny. I would
That was a good one.
yeah, and I think that was kind of and then he sang.
Yeah, let's
He
talk
did
about
sing.
his singing, his musical guest aspect of this episode. I want Timmy to release an album so bad. He did such a good job.
He did a
I
very
would
good
eat
job.
that up every single
I
time.
was very impressed, especially for it being like live vocals, like
Hmm.
solid Timmy.
He did a really good job.
I I didn't I mean here I know he's doing his Bob Dylan movie, so obviously he's saying Bob Dylan. I didn't care for the songs particularly, but I'm not a big Bob Dylan fan, so but I liked Timmy and I liked the way I feel like he actually like performed them
Hmm.
like not as like a second and third like sketches, but like I felt like there was a lot of like theatrical aspects of it which I thought were really cool and I
Yeah.
enjoyed. Like I really liked the performance of it. Like it
Yeah.
felt like a real performance, I felt
No,
like.
I agree. I think for the songs, since, hearing about who Bob Dylan is actually, well, I mean, hearing his name for the first time in my life, from seeing this movie, I don't mind his music. Like that's kind of music I
Okay.
like. So I
Yeah.
don't mind his music. I liked about like because for each time he sang two songs, I think I
Hmm.
liked like half of them. So I liked one song. I didn't really care for the other when he
Yeah.
would for each performance. But like especially the first one, the visuals were so
We're
cool. Like
so cool.
it just felt like very, very Timmy, but like
Yeah.
also
But it
Bob
was
Dylan-y. Like it was really good.
yeah. It was cool that there was effort put into the
Hmm.
musical aspect of it when he's not a musician.
Yeah.
Like where that's just not his forte
Yeah.
necessarily. I mean, he does a good job. He did great in Wonka. We love. I
I was
haven't
a little
seen.
bummed. I was a little bummed the second song was not a Wonka medley, but I get it.
What can
I
you
get
do?
it. He's promoting a complete unknown.
What can you do? Um, but yeah, I really liked the production behind it. I felt like it was really cool. It was done really well, and there was a lot of effort and thought put into it. And I just thought that
I
was
also
fun.
think it was cool that like he picked like his favorite Bob Dylan songs. Like those songs aren't in the movie. Like they're
Hmm.
just ones he likes. So it felt a little bit more personable that way. Like
Yeah,
something he really like he wasn't just performing another artist's songs. Like there were songs that he really
yeah, I
enjoyed,
think that's cool.
which I thought was really cool. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was cool.
But he did such a good job. Such a good job.
Yeah. Overall, super solid episode.
Release an
Like,
album to me. I would listen. I would eat that up.
there you go. But yeah, no, it was a good episode of SNL.
I
I left
was
very happy.
I was heartbroken. There was no wraparound table or tiny horse. But at some point, I mean,
We
he can't do them every single time. So
Maybe next time he comes
Maybe
back.
next time. I was really hoping because Pete came back for John Mulaney's episode, so I was like,
Yeah.
wraparound table, Pete, he could come back.
He wouldn't have to be
He could
hiding
get
out.
out of Turkey. Like, however, I think the bungee made up for that. The bungee was so
Bungie was
freaking funny.
so
It was
good.
so freaking funny
So good.
that again, it was a bummer they started with that because like the animation one was so not funny. Like to end
Yeah.
with that was like kind of disappointing. I feel like it kind of made
Yeah.
me kind of
It
disappointed in the
definitely felt like
episode.
it started super, super high and it just kind of got worse as the night went
Hmm.
on, which like it wasn't bad.
No.
It just it just started
Yeah,
so high.
so good.
Between like the open and Bungie, like
So good. So
it
good.
just had nowhere to go but down.
But going back and rewatching the skits, like the funny skits, like the bungee or the coffee shop, like those ones, it made me like happier with the episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was a little disappointed at the end because there was no wraparound table or
Or Tiny Horse.
tiny horse. But that's okay. We love Timmy
We
regardless.
love it. We love it so much. Yeah, but all around solid episode. I loved Bungie
It
and the
was,
cold open.
it was so funny. Literally, that was so funny. Me and Maddie were watching videos this morning of Bungie just cracking up. Like just
See,
cracking. It
now
was
I
so funny.
can Maddie started sending TikToks. It was
Hmm.
last night, but this morning for me, and I hadn't seen the episode yet. And I was like, I haven't, I can't watch these. And she's like, don't watch these yet. Don't
Don't
watch them
watch
yet.
him.
So I haven't watched them. So now I can go
You're
back and
wearing a
watch the
tampon,
TikToks.
shove it in another wrench, and let's go. Jimmy
So
Carter.
good.
That is so
It's so bad.
funny. It is
Oh my
so
gosh.
funny. That
I
is
love
like
it
just
so much.
the foulest joke I've ever heard. It is so funny.
So funny. But yeah, so okay, Abby. So like we kind of mentioned and we've talked about before, we've been SNL fans for forever, it seems like.
Yes. Well, I was thinking about this. Me and Maddie were talking about this yesterday. Was it Timmy last year or like 2022, 23? It was 23, right before Wonka came out. It was
Yeah.
right after the strike ended, actually. It was our first episode back. Was that the
Hmm.
episode that made us like start consistently watching it every week?
Yes.
I
Because
think it was.
he was like episode 2 or 3 of the season.
Yeah. And so we're like,
Yeah,
this was
and
so
so
funny. Let's keep going.
let's watch it. So we've watched it every single week, maybe minus 1 or 2 if we just really don't care for whoever is the host.
Yeah.
But I think we've watched
For the
every
last
single
three
week.
seasons,
The last two, 2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. 2 seasons.
yeah, the
But
two
we
seasons.
watched.
But
So this
like,
is so I don't know. Did I talk about this on the podcast last week or
I don't
not
know.
about
I don't
Elon?
know what you're saying. Yes, you did.
Okay, so we went back and started watching. SNL was so not funny for a minute there, like so
Yeah,
painfully not funny. Also, I think the COVID episodes really gave me PTSD. Like having their masks and like
it
all the
was
COVID
bad.
jokes and stuff gave me
It's
PTSD.
yeah,
But coming out of that, like 20, starting like end of 22, beginning of 23, it started to get funny again.
yeah. I agree.
And these last couple seasons have been so
Have
good.
been
They've been
so good,
so
but
good.
yeah, but like I don't know if you feel like this, but I felt like we grew up with SNL. Like
Yeah, definitely.
because our parents were big.
Like
I don't
Adam
know.
Sandler, Chris
Adam
Farley,
Sandler, Chris Farley,
David
that
Spade, like that whole
Dana
time.
Carvey,
Dana
that
Carvey,
era of SNL, our
SNL.
parents loved.
Hmm.
And so like I remember watching Man Down by the River when I was little. One
Literally
of
all
the
the
first
time.
videos I probably ever saw on YouTube was
Hmm.
Man Down by the River
Yep.
because we were being shown it. Like I feel like we've watched SNL or at least been aware of SNL
Hmm.
like our whole lives
Yes.
essentially. 'Cause like it's just always been there. So I like I've just like it's been fun to like watch things. Like it's fun because like when a couple weeks ago when Dana Carvey was still doing Joe Biden when they did church lady
Hmm.
church chat, it was like fun to be like, "Oh my gosh, like it's coming
We
back," you
know what
know,
this
when
skit is. Yeah.
you know this one where like a lot of newer SNL fans
Yeah.
didn't
Or
know.
like Adam Sandler hosted like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago,
Hmm.
something like that. And like he did during Weekend Update, he came out and I can't
As
remember.
Opera Man.
That's what it is, Opera Man. Like, and we're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I know what that is. Like it was, and
Yeah.
like I feel like we're pretty big Adam Sandler fans in our
Uh-huh.
family. So like all of like the Hanukkah song, like all of those things.
Oh, the Hanukkah song, the Lunch Lady song, like
Yes.
those were like
like
pivotal,
integral
like,
parts of our
yeah,
childhood.
yeah, yeah. And so it's like so fun. And yeah, I remember we watched like Timo bought like the best of Adam Sandler
Hmm.
SNL compilation, and we like had it on DVD. Like, and we would it had, I mean, it had Hanukkah and Lunch Lady on there, so we watched those. But like,
Hmm.
I just like those were so funny, and I just love SNL, and so I love that it's funny again because it
Yes.
really
It was
really
really a
fell off
bummer for a while
like
there.
2012 to
Yeah.
like 2021. It was
Yeah.
like pretty rough. And like, I mean, Adie Bryant was kind of like saving it for a while there. Like, she was kind of
Hmm.
like the funniest cast member, the only one kind of keeping it afloat, it
Well,
felt
it was
like.
interesting because me and Maddie have gone back and watched like some older episodes and like to see like the casts change, like
Hmm.
we have
Year to
a
year.
really good cast right now. Like
Yeah.
there's a couple of
Yeah.
them that I could do without, but we have a really, really good cast right now. And I think that really is, I mean, the writing for sure, but like the cast is just funny right now.
So funny. Yeah. Like, then they're genuinely like,
Funny.
and they're not like stupid funny. Like, I feel like there
No.
was a while they were playing like the stupid, like it was stupid characters.
Hmm.
Like that's just kind of what they were playing up. The cast, like the previous like core cast.
Yeah. Hmm.
And but I feel like this is like clever cast.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
love that. I love
Hmm.
because I feel like taking it back to, like Dana Carvey, Adam Sandler days, like I feel like they were clever with a lot of the
Well,
things.
I heard this take, and it was that like SNL used to be like character acting, where it went to skit acting for a while, and now we're kind of back to the character acting where you had like a lot of
Mm.
like the lunch lady, you had the man down by the river, like you had these kind of characters that would come back
Domingo.
and do
Yeah.
Domingo. Like I feel like that's coming back. And that's what's
Hmm.
making it funny again. Because they're not
Yeah.
just these like skits or like even like the George Washington with what's his name, Nate Bargatze. Like
Yeah.
those like kind of reoccurring like characters that are funny. Like I feel like for a while there, they were just trying everything where they find things that work and they bring them back.
Yeah.
And that's making
Which
it funny again.
I agree. I think that's definitely like I just love the character, like you're saying, character based. I think
Hmm.
it's so good. And I think that the cast right now is like built to have characters
Hmm.
that can recur
Hmm.
and be familiar to people, because I think that's like the familiarity I think is so fun. Like that's what made
Hmm.
like the second Domingo sketch really fun. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's Domingo, he's
It's
back.
Domingo.
Like you could pull it, really
Yeah.
quick. Or like last week with Marcelo being like the Latin dad or whatever, because he
Yeah.
had done that
He's done that
before. And so it's just
before.
like so funny
Hmm.
to just like, it's just nice to like pull on a character and
Yeah.
be able to
And like
to
create funny characters and build on those funny
hmm
characters. Like you're not having to come up with a totally new idea every time. You're taking something that's funny and making it funnier for
yeah,
that episode.
yeah, I agree. And I
Which
think
I love because SNL
I
is
love
so
it.
funny. It is so funny. And I really like there's two of the cast members I think I would swap. But
The two girls,
every
Jane and what's
okay.
her name?
Yeah, I do not like Sarah Sherman. I know a lot of people don't like her. A lot of people do like her. She's just not my cup of tea. I think
Yeah.
like, I get why she's there. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I like her better while she's acting in some of the sketches
Yes.
than when she's herself.
Yes. She's
She's a
just
little too
herself.
out there for me.
Yes. And then Jane Wickline, I just don't think she fits SNL. Like she does like her TikToks and stuff can be funny. Like I've seen ones that I think are funny. I
Okay.
just don't think she just fits like her comedy style doesn't fit SNL.
Yeah, yeah, because I went to her TikTok after she got on, and I like looked at some things, and I was like, I can see why this is funny for TikTok.
Yeah.
I can see the appeal of it for TikTok, but
Hmm.
I don't
It
feel like it
doesn't
doesn't
translate.
translate to longer short form content
Yeah. Well, like I feel
and
like
live.
she's very one note. Like
Yeah.
she does the like awkward serious thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fine for some things, but like I feel like that's all
But
we've seen
for
from her. So I don't know, maybe she just needs more time. I don't know. She's not my favorite. But to each their
we
own.
will see. We will see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, no,
But
I feel the
like
same.
genuinely everyone else I think is hilarious. I think is
So
so
funny.
good. So good.
So funny. And I think Emil was a good
I think he's
he's been
funny.
a great addition this season.
Hmm.
Like I really like him. Marcelo, I love
Love
Marcelo.
Marcelo.
I feel like this season he's so settled in
Hmm.
SNL. Like
Well,
it feels like he's settled.
I think last season was his first season. So I
Yeah,
think this is just his second season, which he's
which is
killing it. He is
crazy.
killing it for his second season.
Crazy. It's so good. But I just feel like he feels more settled and so like
Hmm.
he's more comfortable and it's just like bringing out more fun. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like it's just more exciting. Like Chloe, I love
I
Chloe.
love Chloe. I all the girls, again,
Are
apart from the
so
two that we
good.
mentioned, are so funny. They are
So
so
good.
funny. Like Heidi is
So good.
hilarious. Ego is hilarious. They are
I
so
love
good.
them.
They are so, so
Yeah.
good. I love them.
No, they're amazing. So much so fun. I love it. I love the cast right now. I just Andrew has really
SNL
like
same.
come through this season for
I was
me.
gonna say, I feel like Andrew is in every single skit. Like he is always there,
Yeah.
but I don't get tired of him. I'm not like,
I
oh,
don't
it's
either.
more
I'm not like,
Andrew.
oh,
You know what I mean?
Andrew's here again.
He's so funny. He's so, so
He's so
funny.
funny. And then James Austin Johnson. I
Like, genuinely,
He's
I have
so
never been
funny.
more impressed by an impression. It is
It is so
perfect.
good. And
Like,
but he's just
perfect.
even when he's not doing Trump,
He's so
he's
funny.
funny. Like
Hmm.
he's a great I feel like he's not used as often in
Hmm.
sketches, but I think he's so funny when he is. Like
He
he
is
makes
so
a
funny.
good impression every time.
Hmm.
Like so funny.
Mikey Day,
Um
hilarious. I love Mikey Day.
so good. Love Mikey Day. Like
Bo and
and I was
Yang,
looking Mikey's been there for like
he's been there
a
a
long
long
time.
time. He has been there a
And I
long
like
time.
and it's crazy, but I feel like he's also just like really
Yeah, but I think it's interesting too. I mean, he's been there, I mean, I think around 10-ish years. Like he's been there
yeah.
a while. But like seeing how he's changed, like how much funnier he is now, like with the right
Hmm.
cast, like is
Yeah.
really interesting to me because I
It
feel like
is.
he
It
just
is.
wasn't able to shine with the other cast.
Hmm. Yeah.
But he's
This cast is
hilarious.
great.
Bone Yang, one of my favorite people walking this earth right now. I love him
I
so
love him so much. Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Devin Walker. Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
He's
So
so funny.
apparently, if you pull up a picture of Pete Davidson and Devin Walker, they look so similar
Oh,
that
really?
someone thought that that was Pete in blackface, which
No
it's
way.
not. Oh my gosh, me and Maddie watched an episode of SNL like from the 90s where they did do blackface. I've never been more uncomfortable in my whole entire life. It was
Oh, I can't even
so
imagine.
uncomfortable. But if you pull them up, their eyes are the same, their mouths are the same. Like
Really?
it is so funny. Pull up a picture of Devin Walker and Pete Davidson. They look
Okay.
extremely similar. But it was so
Interesting.
funny. But yeah, be careful watching old episodes of SNL because it was I was wildly uncomfortable. Um,
There you go.
but who else is on the cast? Is that everybody? I feel like
You
I'm
have like Michael and
Oh, Michael and Colin are the best
they're the best
Weekend
update
Update people
hosts.
in the whole entire
Like
world. They're so funny.
so good. I
Also,
love
I
them. And
didn't,
then
again, we went
what?
back and watched old episodes. I did not know Will Ferrell and Tina Fey did Weekend Update together.
They did it together?
Yeah. And I was like,
Oh.
I'm trying to think because we watched the 9/11 episode and we watched one in the Y2K episode, and I can't remember which one was which. I think they were the Y2K episode.
Okay.
And like they were funny. I mean, it was kind of an interesting dynamic. It was different than what I mean, Michael and
Colin and
Colin are
Cheho's
just
make.
so funny and they're like
Yeah.
so like they banter so well that
Yeah.
I just
They're
really like
really
them. But
yeah, no, I agree.
yeah, I did not know they did it together. It was kind of interesting. But
Interesting.
Weekend Update was really funny too.
Yeah.
I think Colin Jost is so funny. I think he is so funny.
When he brought up Celebrity Jeopardy, not
No,
Celebrity
Pop
Jeopardy,
Culture Jeopardy.
pop culture
We better
Jeopardy.
not do this. Pop Culture Jeopardy.
So
So
good.
funny. So, so
So
funny.
funny. I love it. I mean, I feel like we could talk about this for ever and ever because I just love SNL so much and we'll have to do a part two. We are so over time, I feel like today. But
These episodes lately have been longer, but that's
it's been
okay. If
fun.
you like that, let us know. I mean, I
Let us
can chat
know.
for ages.
I know we can
Um,
talk and but like honestly, SNL is so funny.
it is so
This was a
funny.
good episode. If you watch nothing else, Watch
The
the cold open
bungee.
in Bungie. Like your life will be changed. These
It
were
was
so
so
good.
funny. It was so funny. Like genuinely so funny. I haven't laughed that hard at a sketch in a long time. It
In
was
a
so
while.
good.
Since Beavis and Butthead, probably.
Probably. It was so good.
So good. So yeah, I highly recommend. Love so much. We will, I'm sure, do a part two, talk more about SNL, talk about older SNL that we love as well, because
Mhm.
there's still older sketches that I
So
just
many
love to
things
go
that we
back
love.
to. Um, but yeah, so good. Any
Okay.
final thoughts?
No, I think that's it. Go follow us on your preferred streaming platform, social media, YouTube. It's just Aids Our Own Diaries podcast everywhere. Again, if you're new, let us know how you found us because I'm really interested to see.
Yeah, we really
And
want
if
to
you
know.
made it this far, comment a heart because we love you.
Please. We love you. And we appreciate you listening to us yap for so long.
Literally just talk about nothing. Um,
Our
but
favorite
yeah,
thing.
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.